Deadline day and Monday Night Football on the same night. You're going to need more than one device, definitely. Jamie, great to see you. Let's get into these transfers first. Matthias Tell said no to Tottenham on Friday. On Monday, he's about to sign for Spurs, having said I'd prefer to go to United or Arsenal. Do you think the Spurs fans will have that?
Well, they'll have to. It doesn't look like they're going to have too many options, but I think, to be fair to the lads, if you're getting the option, if Arsenal and Manchester United were there, you'd probably pick those clubs ahead of Tottenham. So I could understand that. I think the fact that Tottenham looks like they may be getting him on loan now. So I think that's a really good deal for both teams. He can have a look at Tottenham. Tottenham can have a look at him because, we're talking about a young player with potential, but hasn't played too much football at all at Bayern Munich. So if he settles in well at Tottenham, he'll definitely get lots of chances. They create chances, they score goals. For me, one of the most exciting teams in the league. So I actually think this move works for player and the club, because I always think bringing someone in January, he's obviously fell out of favour a little bit at Bayern Munich, or he's not getting the minutes that he would like. So I think this works for everybody.
Marcus Rashford has gone to Aston Villa on loan. Does that work for everybody?
I think it's a good move for Marcus Rashford. There was talk of some of the biggest clubs in Europe. I never saw that, but there's no doubt Aston Villa are one of the biggest clubs in this country. They've got a fantastic manager, and Unai Emery does get the best out of players more often than not when you look through his managerial career. So I think it's a decent move. I think it's a good move for Villa as well, because I think it was always a problem when they had Duran and Watkins, because they can both only play centre forward. Now and again, Watkins could play wide, but it wasn't really, his strongest suit. So it was always going to be a problem. One of them had to go. I think I said a couple of weeks ago, John Duran, they should sell him and get the money in. Rashford gives you the option that he is a player who can play through the middle and to the left, so he can play with Watkins. And if Watkins is out injured, as it looks like he may be, on the back of what happened at Wolves at the weekend, Marcus Rashford might get a go through the middle as well. So he gives the Unai Emery and the Aston Villa team more options, and also there's going to be more football for him to play, as I said, because there was no chance he was going to get that at Manchester United.
Is this the last chance saloon for Rashford?
We say that a lot, but footballers, they always seem to get, a second chance. Certainly someone who's had, or certainly has the pedigree of Marcus Rashford. He's definitely shown at times throughout his career he's got great ability. He just hasn't shown it enough. And like all managers, Unai Emery will have that ego, that he'll believe that he's the man who will, unlock that, not so much potential now with his age, but certainly get Marcus Rashford back to his best.
Now, the noise throughout this window has been Arsenal have to get a striker or a forward in before the deadline. They smacked the champions 5-1 yesterday. Do they really need a striker?
Well, this was exactly what Thierry Henry said after the show. He said because Arsenal have won so emphatically that the talk about them bringing an attacking player or a striker will go. But he felt that they still needed one. And not so much looking at yesterday, because they scored 5 goals. And that's the type of game where you really respect a Kai Havertz, because when you're playing against one of the top teams, you want your striker to come back and help you defend. You want a great header second half from a set piece as well. So you're not just looking about the goals, but the goals came as well, which was a huge bonus for them. But I think it's in the games that they're expected to win, where they may be able to, they'll create chances at home and they're not finishing. And you think of Kai Havertz in the first half, what you saw of Kai Havertz in the second half, that's what you want, but probably not what you saw in the first half. They're leaving it late, and I'm not quite sure the player who improves Arsenal, because there'll be very few players in Europe who will improve Arsenal. We're talking about an elite team now, one of the best teams in the Premier League, one of the best teams in the Champions League as well. So there's very few players who can improve what they've already got. So I think it'd be difficult for them to bring somebody in. But I think without another special player in attack, and I said this at the start of the season, I'm not just saying this on the evidence of the last 6 months, I don't think they've got enough to win the Premier League. Yeah,
you have said that a lot. What about the current champions then? They're looking at Gonzalez from Porto to get him in today. Do they desperately need a defensive midfielder to have some chance of finishing in the top 4?
I think they do, yeah. I looked at Man City's fixtures a week ago, including the Arsenal game. The next, sort of 4 or 5 games were really tough. And I actually felt it could be a problem for them in terms of, making the Champions League position. We think that'll be 5 this season, but when you look at what Nottingham Forest do, and they threw the cat amongst the pigeons, it's just almost not supposed to be there, so another top team will miss out. I think they're in a real fight for Champions League position, and I think Pep Guardiola knows that, and hence why they've done so much business already in this window. But Yeah, they need a midfield player. Kovacic, we've seen now for the last few months, cannot play in midfield on his own. Gundogan is not capable either now. So I do think they need to buy a midfield player, top quality one, which I'm sure this lad will be. And if they get that, I think that would be enough for them to make Champions League positions. But if not, I think they've got a real fight on.
What about Liverpool? Serenely disappearing into the distance. But I think you wrote, didn't you, last week, they're only a couple of injuries away from the Champions League and Premier League being derailed. Doesn't look like they're going to do any business, but do you think they should?
There's definitely areas of Liverpool's team that I think that can be really improved. But I think that would be something for the summer. I think centre-forward's a position they can really improve in. I think attacking midfield is a position Liverpool can really improve in as well. And I think a left-sided defender. Now, I think if those players were available right now, I'm not sure they would do the attacking ones because they've got enough numbers there. For me, I do think Liverpool need to sign a left-back, but that will, I'm sure, will come in the summer. Or a left-sided defender, if you like, who can play left-sided centre-back and left-back. But for me, I've got that much trust in what these people do over the sort of last 8 to 10 years that even if I think they should, I do look at the operation at Liverpool and think they know more than me. They know what they're doing. You know, every fan gets excited and worried about players coming in, and I would love Liverpool to have signed another defender, if I'm being totally honest. But I trust that these people know what they're doing because the track record says that they do.
Yeah, absolutely.